Studying in NIT, I have worked on Windows 3.11 for workgroups. Try to search it in internet and find what is Windows 3.11 for workgroups. So it was basically an application. It was not an operating system at that point of time. So like the way comes Windows 95, 98, and slowly now you have latest Windows 2011 or now 2024, etc. I was going through a time where IT was coming to India as so it was very important for me, whatever I or my parents have given me at that point of time. It was a privilege for me to study this kind of institute at a good cost, which my parents have helped me to carry on. And probably that's the only thing I listened to my father when he was talking to me about future and all. Because post I crossed standard 8 probably, my father stopped talking to me about studies. So he said, no, in India, I really don't mind whatever you do because it's you have to do. It is something which I will not tell you or I will worry you. So obviously, if parents give you this kind of freedom, then what happens? Then you feel that they are free. You are completely free. So I felt free. So obviously, I was not studying that well. I feel at this point of time in my life that whatever in 4 years. They have taught us in 2 years. And whatever they have taught us in 2 years, along with that, they have also had few things in curriculum which talks about your analysis skills, your presentation skills, and other skills in terms of how you interact in a session, how you talk, how you are presenting a technical topic or a non-technical topic, etc. Because today also when I meet a student,
branches as well. I find you always get restricted by your language. Okay, and you feel very bad. English. We have to but we Indians have a point that things always हम लोग सोचते हैं गलती है English is very complicated because the entire world is in that language. There is no other advantage to that. If you have history back to Shivaji Maharaj or Sambhaji, you will find they will speak. And history says that you can speak Mughals, Parsi. So throughout the time and knowing 14 to 17 language at that point of time, it was without YouTube channels, no mobile phones. So you can imagine, and if you are from that land, then you can figure out that okay, what is your potential and what you can do. Lot of time we do not even consider what is our potential. So there are two factors to it. One is that somebody should tell you or let you know what is your potential, what you can do. Somebody should show you that path. And second, you should have that interest and courage to invest in your potential. If you are not doing that, then you will probably wake up at a time which will be. And when I was studying, and after that, when I passed out, I started getting into job and things like that. The only thing which by the time I understood that English was my favorite subject when I was in school. So that way I would say that had given me a lot of advantage. Advantage in the sense, once when I started interacting with customers, when I started interacting with colleagues, everything was good for me. I didn't have any bumpy ride during that point of time. And after say 10-15 years, I was very good at writing emails. So people used to call me to write emails. So that is the only thing which I picked up from the school, which I was interested in to do. I used to write also in colleges and schools. I used to write Excel post speeches. I used to write on Excel topic as well. So all those things have faded when I went my professional life. So I learned that whatever good qualities that you have, you should not just leave it because of a job or because of whatever you are doing in professional life. Because whatever you like, say for example, if you like to play football, I worked with a junior guy who is based in Bangalore. He was in Bangalore state level football player. Okay. Every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays he goes to play football, but he works for a client also. So that's the way how he is making his orientation very good. A lot of things are there about our soft skills which we do not care. We always insist on the fact that okay, we have to write code, we have to talk in English, we have to communicate this person, that whatever it is. But there are many soft skills which we undermine, जो हम नजरअंदाज कर देते हैं कि ये हम नहीं करेंगे, ये क्यों कर रहा है, अभी तो काम है ये है, इसमें ही सब कुछ है. My appraisal will not talk about how much how could I write, but your mind needs something. If you don't say, like say for example, if I tell you today, I was very much excited to come to this college or come to this place. Why? Because the place is in a rural. It is in the middle of the Grange. Okay, and a lot of people who are like me, or I'm from a very common town kind of place. So whatever you see me, whatever you are looking at me, I am the same person who is belonging to that small town from where I was born, brought up, and I did my schooling. Today also when I go back and I talk to my school friends, we are just like that. We don't discuss what I do or what kind of work we do. So it is very important to have those kind of orientation in life. That is what I have learned, and that is why. And I always wanted to come back to campus interviews, talking to students, because it gives me a lot of opportunity to talk to people, tell them that okay, what they are doing or whatever they are doing, they discuss with me. Normally, I don't give you decisions, but I help you to take decisions. That's the way how I interact with people. Okay, so I don't know if today's session, the way I have planned it, that okay, I will tell you. I'm not sure if it is technical as such the way it is, but I don't want to. I want to make it very interactive. If you have any question during that session, you are free to ask. And the most important thing is that, first of all, you do not have to think that okay, somebody is coming and I have to just listen to him. If you have a point, if you have any specific comments or something, you can do that. I am very open for that. And if you have any question with respect to whatever we talk. So that is more or less my journey. The way somebody starts in a small town, going to school, then college, then getting into this place. And I am thankful to my parents, especially to my father, just because of one thing which I listened to him. And if I would not have listened to him, I would not have been here today. So it is very important to listen to parents, I would say. Like when we are in school, we want to go to college. When you are in college, you want to go to office. When you will go to office, at some point of time you will want to come back to school, or you will want to come back to college. Till now, when I go back to my native place, I could go there once in a year. So there are 4 or 5 friends we always meet in the school. And we meet in the school ground where we used to play football. Okay, so there are certain things which is associated with people of West Bengal who are Bengali. One is football, one is cricket, and one is eating. So we are very fond of eating. So most of our life savings goes into eating, on food, delicacies, and things like that. If you happen to have Bengali friends, if you go to their marriage, if they give you breakfast, you will feel that okay, no, this cannot be breakfast. This is lunch, but it is not lunch, it is breakfast. So it's a very different, but it is like when I lived in Maharashtra for so many years. I worked in Mumbai, I worked in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, then Pune for so many years now. And I had always had a global team. So I had teams from different places of India and across the globe. And we never felt like, okay, we are from any different places as such. So one thing that helped is that common language, which is English, which everybody understands with respect to that. And wherever I have traveled, I have seen that people are same. They are not different. So you go to any part of the world, if you be with the people in the ground, if you go to, say for example, I lived in South Africa for last few years, and when I used to travel in bus. So in bus, I used to see the kid who is with the mother, he's behaving the same way the way a kid in India will behave. So he needs something, he's tired, so he needs to sleep on mother's lap. He wants mother to carry his bag. So there is no change. So wherever you go, wherever you interact, you just be like yourself and let the other person also open up with you. Because if it is closed, then no conversation will happen. If you are in school, if you are in college, if you are in professional work also, you have to give other person space so that you get space, so that you can converse, so that you can interact, then you can add value to each other. That's the way how it happens. If you want to close that, yes, I understand that a lot of people will not be able to open up in initial time and things like that, but you have to overcome that. It is just like how should I explain it? I will give you example of. Have you heard of Rinku Singh? Rinku Singh in Indian cricket. Have you heard of Jaiswal? Okay, if you go back to them and if you see what Rohit Sharma, say for example, if you read their story, the kind of background that they come from, and today we talk about Sachin Tendulkar, but if you really see when Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli were classmates, both of them were trained by Dharmakant Archrekar, who was their coach, and both of them were equally talented. But today, where is Sachin Tendulkar and where is Vinod Kambli, and what is their life's story? If you read, you will understand what a hard work can do to a talent, and what a misjudgment of career and how Vinod Kambli lost his complete career, despite that he had equal talent, and at that point of time, as a left-handed batsman, he just ruined his career. So Sachin Tendulkar was practicing for more than 12-14 hours. And in one of the interviews, Kapil Dev said that when he used to come to the evening, the kid is sleeping almost. So that is why he is there. So there is no, irrespective of which generation you are or what social media tell you, that you are Gen Z or millennial or whatever it is, there is no replacement of hard work. There is no replacement of hard work. And it is very important to be in that group of people who are giving you that kind of vibe. Because not everyone will continuously give those vibes. So it is your responsibility to find out that which is the group that is right for me, or which are the people who are right for this kind of vibe. There is no, I'm not saying that okay, you will go get along with everybody. हम लोग सबके साथ एक जैसे नहीं चल सकते. But I'm not saying that okay, you should learn from everyone. I will tell you one small incident in my life. So after I think I was 10-12 years, I have done my work and I went back to my native place and I saw one school friend in a bus stop. I was going somewhere and I saw him. And I was calling him, hey, कहाँ है? अरे तू कैसा है? मैं अच्छा हूँ. तो मैंने बोला तू कैसा है? Then the guy is telling me, अरे मैं तो जेल में था, मैं लास्ट हफ्ते जेल से बाहर आया. मैंने बोला क्या हो गया? तो he said नहीं वो लोकेलिटी में कुछ हुआ था, इशू हुआ था, मैंने मारपीट किया था, तो मेरे ऊपर केस हो गया तो मुझे जेल में डाल दिया था. तो मैं 3 महीना जेल में ये करके आया. So life is, so we study in the same school, same class, maybe in terms of our marks or something, but it should not stop you to talk to a person irrespective of whatever job or whatever. So these are the basic orientation of life. It is nothing to do with what you study, what you do, etc. Okay. So with this general statement, I was just going to that. It is a 6-7 page of presentation which talks about different aspects of your journey to career, basically. So this is something which I will not read everything as thing, but I will explain you what I try to portray or what I try to convey to you in these slides. Is it okay with you? Or if you want, during this particular presentation, if you feel that okay, you need to interact, you can stop me and you can ask questions also. Fine? Hello? Fine? You can say yes or no. You just look only here. They are not there. Okay, they are invisible. Okay, and they are not going to tell you anything if you ask me any, and there is no question which is right or wrong. Remember always. lot of time I have seen in professional career also, in life also, normally people think that, okay, should I ask question? If I ask question, what people will think about me? Should I really care what people think about me? I don't know. When I wear jeans, जो फटा हुआ है, do I really care? कि लोग क्या सोचते हैं कि मैं फटा हुआ जीन्स पहन के जा रहा हूँ, या मैं कुछ अतरंगी शर्ट पहन के मैं जा रहा हूँ. मैं गोवा बीच में हूँ, वहां पे मैं फॉर्मल में थोड़ी जाऊंगा. So do I really care? So हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग अपने मन को रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर देते हैं उसके हिसाब से क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना. मतलब हम लोग पूछते नहीं है. So if you are not the person who you are, how do you get the person how I am? That is my question. Okay. So do not hesitate. So I all welcome you to your journey to a new life with respect to your study of engineering, and I wanted to give a tagline also, from clarity to confidence. You all are clear, you have enough clarity that what you are studying, why you are studying, and what you want to become, or what you. So that is what it is. I really can't see that how many of you are on your mobile actually. So if it is a closed hall or things like that, I will have something. So if you want to be on your mobile phone, it is important for you to concentrate fully on the mobile phone. So people who decides that, okay, they will be on their mobile phone, they can move to the last actually. Okay. So when you see the mobile phone, you distract the person who have come to listen to next of you actually. So you should not do that. Like I have made my mobile in silence. Okay. And I have told my wife not to call me before 2 p.m. and she will not also call me. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay. So that is why from clarity down. Now confidence is something which we all have, but with respect to the being we are. Like what I mean to say, like say for example, when you are in college, you are a student. When you go to attend an interview, then you are interviewee. When you are talking to your friend, then you are a friend. So these are the different beings, your personality depending on in which situation you are in. So as a student, when you actually finish your study and you get into a new journey where you want to become a professional, it is very important that you are confident on what you do, what you speak, and what you intend to do actually. Everything should be reflecting that. Like say for example, if you are going to an interview, or if you are going to a person whom you know that he is very much experienced than you, or something like that, then normally you are skeptical, you are fearful that okay, how do I interact with this person, and what I do, what he will ask. Why should I care? Whatever I know, I will offer. Whatever I don't know, I will say I don't know. That's the approach. Like say for example, I have seen a lot of memes where this Pakistani cricket player talking in English, and people are making fun of it. So do they really care? They didn't care. If somebody is making, yes, the kind of background they have, or kind of, they should choose in speaking in Hindi, in my view. A lot of Indian players who, and again I'm saying again and again, that this is a burden we as Indians have carried in our life, that not knowing English is a crime. No. English is not a crime. There are a lot of foreigners, US people, other people who have come to our countries, who have set up their business, who got married to an Indian. They have learned our language and they are quite happy with it. Okay, why I am saying so many things? Because in last 3 months, I had a lot of time to experiment that way how people waste time in social media. Because I was deliberately wasting my time. And in my home, my wife was saying, why you are always on phone? You will never be on phone like this. I said, no, I want to see that what people actually do, what people scroll. And I was amazed to see that how much time it can take from your life. Like people are there who cannot stay for 5 minutes without touching the phone. I have a kid on my floor who cannot eat without looking at YouTube channel. Can you imagine? So, misuse of technology, probably, but will. Okay, so till the time he fixes it. So, I think this is very right time for all of you, coincidentally or timeline-wise, that you are starting your career now, where India is at a place where. Go to the next slide. Yeah. So if you search in the internet or if you go to RBI site, Reserve Bank of India, you will find that where our economy stands. It is the 5th largest economy. By the time you finish your engineering, it will be 3rd. It is projected to be third largest economy in the world. Now, if you go to media, social media, you will find a lot of things are there which will talk about that we have got this problem, that problem. India is 3rd largest, but there are potholes in the road, whatever it is. You will find a number of things. But at the end of the day, when we say that okay, we have got this much of population, our population is one of the reasons for this being in the 3rd or 5th economy. Because we have got a consumer base who can utilize some product, some service, or in some way. That is why we are there on the 5th today, and we are projected to be 3rd in next 4 years of time. Okay. So why it is most exciting time for engineering in the time of history? Because there are a lot of opportunities which are coming up in your way, and there are opportunities, but it is important for you to assess and figure out that okay, where I should go and find those opportunities. It is not about what people are talking. It is up to you that okay, how you find out those opportunities and you create your own opinion. You do not create an opinion about what YouTuber 1 has said or YouTuber 2 has said or 3 has said, because there are a number of people. So the moment you root yourself through that YouTuber thing, then you are actually surrendering or you are shelving your ideas, your thought process. You are not even allowing your brain to think by yourself because you are driven by somebody else. And that is what today, if you think about any app or any product, if you scroll, you find that okay, everything is coming in the same line. If you want to land up, that is not right. But anyway, we will go there. Why do I say this? Because a lot of time we think that okay, if we are completing the degree, if I get CGPA of more than 8, I am assured that okay, I'll get a job in some company. I'll get a job in that company. There is a way how somebody fundamentally thinks, and people who have not thought in that line, they have got very much success than people who are doing the job, say for example. So there are people who have done engineering, but they thought of not to do a job because engineering curriculum is designed in such a way that it enables you to think through a lot of things which conventional study do not give you. That is why engineers or engineering graduates are different than other graduates. Why I am saying this? Because I myself know that particular difference while working with people, while dealing with people, and when I actually, after my graduation, when I studied the systems part of it, it gave me very different outlook in terms of everything. That is why I am saying that. So, about engineering, whatever we think that engineering give us the tools only. It will give us the tools, it will tell us that, okay, how those tools work and what are the best practices to leverage those tools. That's it. So people who have leveraged them for solving a problem, say for example, and making your life more convenient, that is something that is very hello, yeah. So it can give you tools, but it cannot give you the results. So if you see that number that I have given, out of 1.5 million engineering graduates, there are 30% of the students in AI and ML. Now, everyone wants to become a computer science graduate. Now, question can be that, okay, why everybody is trying to be a CS graduate? In my interpretation, is that they are not very good in physics and chemistry, or they don't want to study physics and chemistry. That's why they want to go to CS. Because I do not see any other reason for moving into CS. If you think that, okay, there is no opportunity for people in the core engineering sections, then you are wrong. Now, if I tell you to take an approach where, say for example, have you seen that these days whatever car is manufactured, the car can give you data in terms of the maintenance of the car, that if the brake pad of the tire should be changed, what is the health of the clutch, what are the other components of the car which you can intercept actually through sensors, through data, and it comes to one app which is in your mobile. So do you think that one graduate who is a computer science graduate, he or she alone can make that? What they will make? A person who is a CS graduate will know the tools of developing an application. But if he is not having enough knowledge to do what he will develop, then what is the thing that they will develop? So say for example, I'll give you a very common example. If a person is trying to develop an application who is a CS graduate, he has been told that, okay, in bank there is a teller, still we deposit cash in the bank, right? So you develop an application where the teller will deposit the cash account in the bank. At the end of the day, he will say, okay, how much cash is deposited or how much check is deposited, and I want a report. If the person doesn't know what is the down the line process in terms of what they should do, what he will code, it's the same thing. But if I tell you, you are a mechanical engineer, you understand how engine works, how electric vehicle works, how electric vehicle, hybrid vehicles work, and you know, say 20% of the coding part of it, and you go in the market, what will be your value? Somebody who is, you have heard of this term of data analyst or data engineer. A data engineer or data analyst, if he is having CS background and he is working in medical healthcare industry, until and unless he understands how that medical domain or healthcare industry is working, what he will do with the data. So say for example, if I talk about a person who is analyzing data or who is writing a code which will tell that in a control system automation plant, Say for example, let us take a Coca-Cola plant, okay? So in Coca-Cola plant, they make bottles, they make cans, they fill bottles, they fill can, they fill jars, they fill 1 liter of jar, 1.5 liter of jar, 200 ml bottles, everything, right? So in that kind of scenario, if somebody wants to analyze that in a line where, in a production line where bottles are getting filled up, whatever machinery are there, say for example there are 5 lines. One line was installed in say 2015, another line was installed in 2020. And if they are asked to analyze the fact that okay, what is the next time maintenance is required on these 2 lines. So for that he needs to know what is that line, what is the standard maintenance time for that line, and how frequently it should be maintained, and when the last time it was maintained. And in fact, like you have warranty for everything. Like say for example, if I buy a car, they say that okay, for 5 years this much mileage, I give you guarantee of engine. That means the engine can malfunction, engine can fail after some period of time. But during the life cycle of that engine, whatever wear and tear it is meeting, you should know everything out of it. So if I get into that engine, I should go into the cylinder, how many times cylinders are moving, what fluid is being used, which engine oil has been used, what is the friction, and how that particular material is deteriorating over a period of time. It all important to know for you, or that person who is analyzing the data. So still somebody will be needed to make him understand that okay, if you have this data, give me or find out this elements from this data. And data will be everywhere. So imagine that how many people will have that particular car model, and how many people have purchased that car, and how many people's data is being dumped into that particular area from where they have to analyze the data. So do you think that okay, without knowing the background of this mechanics, they will be able to find it? They will not be able to find it. So somebody needs to help them as well. So if I talk about Indian context for engineers, in the last, I think, post this current government has come to picture from 2014. They have done a lot of encouraging things in industry, manufacturing especially. They are talking about Make in India, and there are a lot of people. If you install Indian government app, there is an app called Umang, UMANG. Okay, anyway, I'm not a BJP supporter, but I'm telling you, frankly, that okay, yes, whatever they have done in terms of mobilizing the payment industry in India and doing things for people, and there are a lot of people don't even know if you are coming from rural background, what are the things that they can give it to you or assist you, what kind of loan that they give you to start your own venture and own company, say for example. Because we do not know, because mostly we have that orientation that at the end of the 4 years, you go back to job. But if you give initial 5 years to do something on your own, you can even give job to maybe 5 people, 10 people. After 20 years, you can end up employing 100 people if you do something on your own. But if you want to do something on your own, then obviously probably you have to think that how you can leverage those engineering tools to do something which is innovative and which is very new. If you remember, one program used to come in Sony, this Shark Tank program, right? Have you seen this guy, Kamlesh, right? Malayalam Kamlesh, who was funded and encouraged by Piyush Bansal. Piyush Bansal, right? So Piyush Bansal is the founder of Lenskart. We know what Lenskart does today, right? He went to US to to study MS, and then he started working in Microsoft. And then he thought, no, let me do something on my own. And what he did, nobody would think of. There are people who are in that industry for so many years. If I talk about Titan, Reliance, and other stuff, the way they have done it, what he did, he completely changed the face of that industry in such a way that today one person can leverage one app and you can order for a spec, and it can tell you that whether that spec will be proper for your face or not. There are any number of combinations. You all use it, right? And it has gone into that extent in the last 5 years that he has put up a store in Singapore airport. In international airport, they have put their stops. And imagine how many people he has employed in that industry itself. So if I think about one person who has thought of very different, and all those people who come there in that program, I urge all of you to listen to that program. If you have gone back to your that Sony app or in YouTube, there are channels. You will listen to the story of the people who come there and how they have started and what they are doing now. Kashti was supported by Namita Thapar, who is the MQ lady, and I see that that store has been expanded in every airport. Some incredible India or some hardly they had any store anywhere. So everybody who had come there, by their presence itself, they have multiplied their business. So the way the job market is also going in terms of an engineer will end up in doing engineering things only, doesn't matter. Again, I'm saying that engineering as a curriculum gives you ability to think in a very different manner. Provided you study and provided you have the ability to understand that what it all gives you and you can leverage. And it's very serious. Today, say for example, if I talk about IT, if you have seen in IT in last probably 2 to 3 months, you go to Google and you type IT layoffs, and you see what kind of IT layoffs have happened in the whole world, because of the fact that at some point of time during COVID, they have taken so much of people, and today there is not much work, there is not much business for global uncertainty, there is not much business as well. But say for example, if you have these 1.4 billion people, and if you can identify a problem statement from any segment, if I talk about any segment means, you have segment of retail, you have segment of medical, healthcare, you have segment of say manufacturing, you have multiple segments as such. If you can find out something from there, and when you come back to your main place where you belong, say for example, and if you find out some problem statement from your place, and if you try to solve it, then what happens? Like say for example, one problem I would say in Delhi and Haryana, if you see, every year in winter, they burn those what do they say? What is the technical name of the after they cut the crop? After that, whatever is left out, they will burn it. And if they burn it, because they do not have any place how to recycle or how they will do it, because they have got acres of land and they cannot disperse them, and so they burn it. And since they are burning it, it is getting a lot of health issues on the people who know, including. That's a problem statement maybe. In fact, in India, there are places, if you search in Google about somebody who had done in Chennai, that they have they dump all the dustbin waste in a place, right? There's a big place which they identify outside city and they dump everything. They have started leveraging that dump and they are generating electricity. If I talk about solar also, how many people are into solar as such? How many people's home is lighted by? How many offices in city they use solar for electricity of the elevators, say for example. So if I talk about solar also, and if you study or if you see how people have utilized solar panels in developed countries, you'll be amazed. That is why it is very important to learn that how this exposure, international exposure, knowing what people are doing and coming back to your place and see how we can implement that. So with respect to this 1.4 billion people, real challenges are there and there are opportunity of real innovation. We talk about energy transition. There are 500 gigawatt renewable by 2030. Today people are talking about AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, now if you really get into, you have heard of CPU, there is something called GPU. People who are gamers, they know what is GPU, right? Who plays games. So why do you need a GPU? Because it is a graphics processing unit. In game you need graphics, right? So if you really tell something to AI to do in terms of whatever they train AI data and they come to a conclusion to think that on this data I can use, that itself run for 6-8 months. That itself runs for 6-8 months to prepare the data so that you can type something and then you can get a reply or you get a solution with respect to that. To create the data itself, and it takes a lot of GPU energy. Now the GPU will come from where? From a computer. Computer will run by power. So if it is not having enough power, then how it will run? So if you search about a program called Operation Stargate in US, which is being initiated by this guy, Tom Altman, who is the OpenAI ChatGPT guy, okay, along with SoftBank investment in billions. And they have taken a big area in Texas state and they are trying to build a unit where it will generate this kind of power. So they will keep the data center which is nearby to the power generation houses. So if I talk about if India wants to do that kind of thing and India wants to make its own AI tool, then imagine your MSCP or MSCDL energy is not enough to run those data centers, to power those data centers. So enough study and enough innovation is needed in those areas. It is not only, but since you are going to study technical things and different aspect of technical things, so your mind will be prepared to solve this kind of challenges in future. If I talk about infrastructure boom, smart cities, metros and airports, anyway, if you see in any metro city, the airport is always, it is less capacitated in Mumbai also, in Pune also, everywhere. That is why they are thinking about creating another airport there. Just imagine if there is one airport, how many jobs it can bring. And some point of time you search in internet that how many international airports are there in state of Gujarat. You'll be amazed to know that how many international airports Gujarat state is having with respect to. Now each of the airport, if you see their dynamics in terms of economy, you can do this study using AI also. You say that what is the average revenue of an airport, say for example. If I talk about average revenue of an airport, it comes from everybody, from the vendor to the airline company. Okay, it is very interesting. And making your study fun or interesting is something which you can do. Nobody can do it for you. That's pretty much clear. Okay. But all these things whatever is not my area of study, say for example, I could read them and study them out of my interest only. And I have seen how they benefit to me. That is something which once you get the benefit once, then he will understand, okay, yes, you should do this continuously. Smart cities, if you talk about, if you search a smart city in Saudi called NEOM, N-E-O-M, okay, search it in the net and see they are trying to build a city which we have seen in science fiction. How that city will be built, and lot of people, lot of international companies who are working in developing NEOM city. Okay, so if you see that, then you'll find, okay, what kind of work is there. So if somebody is doing things, I'll say that our smart city implementations are like that, where there is a cycle track, people will park the car. It will never happen outside. The problem is that we have too many cars, we have too many people. So we have to do some adjustment. Okay. Sometimes you say, okay, we have to compromise. There is a thin line between doing compromise and adjustments. And there will be people who will also say in front of others who are not belonging to our country that these are the things which are bad. So people who are settled in USA, for example, for 15 years, 20 years, they say, no, in India में बहुत dust है, वहाँ पे बहुत dust है, गर्मी बहुत है. So there is something which is one set of people. Another set of people who will come back and who will enjoy the dust and that hot weather of India. Okay, so one is compromise and one is adjustment, how you can figure it out among these two set of people as such. So with respect to Indian context, this particular slide talks about that there are n number of things which are in manufacturing. In manufacturing EVs also, if you read about something called sustainability and environment factors, where we get a lot of scores in industry. So with respect to sustainability, people get scores. So if I make a building today, and if I tell them that, okay, how I am utilizing electricity, how I am recycling my water, how I am recycling my wastewater, on basis of that, government will give me some score. Okay, so EVs, whatever batteries that they use, there is no, I would say, proper study in terms of how they will dispose of those batteries, which is used in a EV, electric vehicle. Now, those batteries, say for example, you cannot dispose it of just like that. Because if it is contaminated with your soil, it will contaminate the water, it will contaminate the crop, it will completely get hold of the environment in a very rough manner. Okay, there was some, if you talk about, if you search about this, few things in India with respect to, one is Bhopal gas tragedy. There is something which is a gas leak from a factory, how it can cause damage to people's life for a long time. So for example, there are studies where in US and in Russia, there was some nuclear power plant leakage which has caused arsenic in the water, and people have taken those water for drinking and they got cancer over a period of time. There are good movies also on basis of this story as well. So I am telling you these stories of these kind of things to tell you that what are the different opportunities. See, it is our choice if I want to be average, if I want to be what I have, and I want to, and with respect to that, I want to sign off all the risks that I have. If I get into a job, I sign off a risk that anytime I may lose the job. If I do something on my own, I ensure that, okay, I will get people's blessing also. We only are trained to calculate the money. We do not tend to calculate the blessing that we can get from people. That is much more valuable during the time when you don't earn money. Remember this thing in your life. that whenever we stop earning money, we run ourselves through blessing of the people. You try it out. If I have give you n number of examples, I will not deviate from here, but this is what it is. If you bring जिसको बोलते हैं कि हम लोग हर घर में रोजगार देते हैं, so we change the life of that person. If we mentor one person for a better life, we change the life of a person. Now, if I think about this 1.4, if I take 30% of them taking care of this kind of thing, then it will be a big thing. It will be a big thing for a small place also. If you have 100 people, if you are known 100 people, if you try to change their life in a way. But all these things require a continuous thought. If I talk about you right now, if I do not follow up, by evening you will forget this. That is natural. But how you keep it in your mind and how you derive at an appropriate time, that actually draws your quality. And your quality and your ability, your talent doesn't really define from where you belong. At least I don't believe it. Because somebody is from city or somebody is from that facility, they can only do that. If I talk about that guy, Kamlesh, if you see, I follow him actually. If you see, Jugadu Kamlesh is his name in the handle of Instagram. And he had done so many things for the farmer. With respect to, he has created something where the farmers is using it for spraying pesticide in the crop, in the field. Just see how he has made it. Is he a bee? He has just applied his mind. So application is very important. There is something called applied of the things. You have seen subjects like applied maths, applied physics, applied chemistry, if you see. So whatever you have learned, how it is applied, at the end of the day, it is very important. Okay. So it really doesn't matter from where or from which stream you complete this, but startup of India. If I don't talk about startups, there are a number of startups which comes in that program itself. And if you go to Indian government side, you will see that okay, how they are actually helping the startups. And at recent times, if you study about what is the opportunity in semiconductor area, if I talk about Tesla, all of you have heard of Elon Musk, the eccentric man. Huh? So at any point of time, NASA-like organization never thought of that if I launch a vehicle, rocket in the space, I will bring back that vehicle back in the base. And 3 times it did not work, and 3 times it burned. And probably 4th time, and for each of the burning, what kind of laws that company has faced. And if you go to SpaceX side, I was few years back I was looking at SpaceX. It looks to be like an Amazon. So if you go to SpaceX website, you will find what is the price of a rocket, what is the price of a launcher, how many satellites it can. So NASA is actually outsourcing the work to SpaceX. And similarly, if I talk about in India, in ISRO, that you just see in last 10 years what kind of work ISRO has done. We have been launching satellites for other countries, and at one go we have launched more than 10 satellites. Which is not joke. So people who have been studying like that, they only have made it possible, right? And if you go, and there are certain places where it really does not matter from where you are, because your knowledge matters. How much you have actually gained knowledge. Studying for exam is very different thing, and studying for knowledge is a very different thing. I can study last 10 years paper. If my logic is very good, I can even predict. Or if you upload 10 years of question paper in AI and you say, okay, from 2020 to 25, this much have been gone, and what is your prediction? It can also tell you. Okay, now a lot of these days I see with respect to CS, say for example, that people are using AI to create the code or develop the code. In my view, during your study, you should not use any tool which will code for you. Okay? Because when you start working, you can use that particular tool to code for you, because when you are professionally hired by somebody, he will ask you to assess the code, whether the code is right or wrong. And throughout your life, if you have not done coding and you end up just in that scenario, you will not be able to understand. Because for the 4 years, you have done coding through a tool. You have not done by yourself. Okay, so when I just go back to when I used to study at that point of time, we used to do using Microsoft Foundation classes, which were a specific language called Visual C++. So with respect to Visual C++, when we used to study, we had a tool called App Wizard. We used to call it as Application Wizard. Wizard means what? If you have seen this story of Harry Potter, so wizard is what? I just do like this, everything will happen. So it used to give you some options, you just type on those options and you say finish, it will give you a code structure. Now if you go to that code structure, then you will find that okay, in that code structure you will just write the snippets. It was just like that. But if you write it by yourself, then you know the code in and out. If you design a vehicle by yourself, or during the science exhibition, say for example, whatever you create, whatever you do, you can demonstrate that also. You are fired up to demonstrate that because you know each of the part, what you have done, what is the function of those parts, and what it is supposed to do. Right? So it is irrespective of which branch you study, country India is going to offer you a lot of things in the next 5 to 10 years. If you study the growth of 2010 and 2020, you will see how we have grown in every area. And similarly, between 2020 and 30, it is almost half of that particular decade. So by the time you will finish up, will be end of this decade as such. Okay. So our country, India, is a big opportunity. Why? Because foreigners come here and invest here. And you will not have any market bigger than India anywhere else. If today, you just think of, if we stop using product of Procter & Gamble, P&G, we stop using product of Unilever, then what is the product which we have in market? If I talk about soft drinks, say for example, you see what? You see Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and you see Fanta. But if I talk about my school days, I have seen 10 brands. When Coca-Cola took over them, they stopped all those brands. And they ran with Thumbs Up, Thumbs Up and that Sprite, only two, and one is PepsiCo and Mountain Dew. We had in our times, I think, Citra, then Lynching, then Lahir Pepsi, and no things were there. But they stopped it. And now, probably after 50 years, Mukesh Ambani's company is starting the brand Campa-Cola. Campa-Cola was a brand, but Campa-Cola you can only get in Reliance stores, not in other stores. So I'm not very sure there must be some strategy with respect to that. In fact, I saw Bisleri is also have come up with cola. So if I just think about that Bisleri who is making mineral water, they are manufacturing cola. What does that mean? That means that they have set up a facility, they have taken some land, they have set up a facility, they have installed it, they have installed and commissioned machines. Then they have deployed people who know how to run that plant. And then they have run that plant. So in order to run that plant, they have generated job for people who does facility management services. That means who will come and clean. Will come and clean your bathrooms, clean your office, empty your dustbins and everything. Does that mean what? That means that every segment of the society has got a job. Okay, we cannot think just because we have got privilege and we have got education that we are the only person who should get the privilege to live and enjoy facilities. That will be very weird thought actually. It is still there in some part of India that हम लोग ने पढ़ाई लिखाई किया है या हमने ये किया. It is our privilege to be like that. So they don't even care about people who does those kind of jobs. I have seen it. I have seen it in a lot of places that where people actually do that. Do you think that is something which is important? That is something which is needed? No, it is not needed. Nobody will tell them not to behave with the people who are doing that kind of job because we do not have any respect for or dignity of that labor. Can you do that in other country? No, you can't. Indian people, when they go to foreign country, they cannot afford to keep a household help. So हम जिसको बाई बोलते हैं ना, घर में जो आते हैं काम करने के लिए, they can't afford. So they do it themselves. But when they come back to India, they keep 3 or 4 people. One for cooking, one for taking care of kid, one for somebody else, and for something else. So I am saying that okay, people should not do that. People should do it themselves. Why? There are 2 reasons for that. They are so low level of job that there is something which somebody is capable enough to do it. Okay, when I am saying this, I tell you that okay, I do everything at home, we do not have any household help. After COVID, we have stopped it, but after that, there was some health issue of my wife, so she had to keep somebody, but now we are not having somebody who is doing it. And that is something which is very important. And if I get into more detail of that context, I saw on LinkedIn post of a woman who is a IT employee. She said that okay, I am doing work from home. This is my routine, and my husband is doing work from home. This is my routine. So the guy wakes up, he gets the tea, he starts his call, meetings and everything. The lady is waking up, making the boy or girl for school, making tiffin, and when she's getting time to eat, her call starts. So it's a very different paradox altogether with respect to. So when we become professional, it is important for us to think about all these small things which will run your family also. Because the way you run your family, the way you keep your orientation brings success to the work. That's very important. Have you heard of this lady, Indra Nui? Have you heard of her? Indra Nui, INDRA, space NWYI. Indra Nui was CEO of PepsiCo. Okay. So she has transformed the company the way it was. Okay. So if you go and see her videos in internet, you will find that how she got help from her husband, from her mother. She moved to US, I think, in 1965 or 70, and then she took up the job. She worked in PepsiCo for more than 20 years maybe. But she transformed that company. And she was telling in a meeting that how you, when you are a professional, how your responsibility at home translates. That her daughter will always call in the reception. Can I talk to my mom? So then her secretary used to say that, okay, your daughter has called. Then she had given a script to that secretary. The next time she calls, you ask her, did she do homework? Did she do this? Did she do this? Then only she will get access to more. So then the secretary used to keep her busy in that point of time. Later, if she is available, she will call. It was like that. So she is saying that having career of a man and woman is very different, but it is the way how both of them are managing it. Because if you are not able to manage it at home, how will you manage it at office? Okay, there is some extensive thought to this, but at the end of the day, our country is enough to give us job and enough to create job. So it is not necessary that we have to get out of our country and do it. So there are a lot of things which we face in outside which people will never disclose, never tell with respect to discrimination, color, all these things are there. But when we come across them, then we see that, or then we say, then acha ye to discriminate kar raha hai. But practically, if you see, we do all sort of discrimination when you are at school. The day you called a mota as mote, you are discriminating him. Okay. So, but how, in a subtle way, how jokingly you can manage such kind of things without hurting anybody's sentiments, that's very important. Okay. Do you want me to give you a break? Or shall I continue? Fine. Okay, fine. So with respect to skills, I have a slide which talks about master the fundamentals. So if I talk about master the fundamentals means, if I tell you that with respect to Newton's law, we studied that, okay, force is equal to mass into acceleration. If you tell me to reduce that equation right now also I can do that. That how P is equal to mf. And how it works, I can explain also. Why? Because maybe the time I study